Welcome back to an episode of Bass Fishing Addictions. Inside that rod tube right there, I got two new rods for 2020. The Abu Garcia Virtual rod and then the black and red version of the Daiwa Fuego. Just got done and we are on to the Abu Garcia Virtual rod. Jeez. Now I thought the Fuego rod was black and red, and that thing's like cherry and red. Now this thing, I thought this was black and green, and now this is blue and green. I don't know what's going on. Well, first things first, let's get all this junk off. Now before we dive into this thing and take a look at it, just know that this is the first rod that I know of that has Bluetooth on it. When I first heard about that, I literally thought that was a joke, but they made it happen somehow. Right, so starting at the butt end of the rod, this is where all of the business is, where the Bluetooth technology comes from. It's all right here. We'll get into that a little bit more later. And because of the Bluetooth inside of this rod, this end cap is just absolutely massive. Powered by Angler. I don't know who that is or what that is, but I guess they're with Abu Garcia now. All of our wrappings look pretty good. Pretty good. Got our EVA foam. Then I was just talking about this on the Daiwa Fuego rod, but the little trigger here on this rod, you can see it curves up a little bit. The one on the new Daiwa Fuego is literally just straight out. I like them when they're a little curved up like this. Makes it easier to hold on to it a little bit better. And as we can see, my EVA foam is dirty. Don't know how, but okay. And we can see with our nut right here, this is the style on the 3rd Gen Vendetta and the 2nd Gen Veritas. Personally, I don't really like this because it's really big and bulky. I prefer the 3rd Gen Veritas if you guys have ever gotten your hands on one of those rods. There's literally nothing right here besides just a point to attach a reel to. All the screwing is done in the handle. So that rod is extremely comfortable to hold. So I'll live with it, not really a fan of it. See, we got Abu Garcia Virtual Next Generation. And then our stats here on the back. No joke, Tackle Warehouse only had this rod in stock between all of the bait casting rods and all the spinning rods. 7-foot medium heavy, 1/4 to 1 ounce lure, 12 to 20 pound line. So it's a pretty universal rod. I really wanted a medium action rod so I can use Senkos on it, but this is all I had. You can see we got some 30-ton graphite. So this is the exact same graphite that is on the Veritas. So in reality, this thing should be just as sensitive as a Veritas. And then with our first two guides right here, we got them wrapped on the top and bottom for all the strength and support. And then the rest of the guides are just wrapped up at the single point right here. I'm kind of bummed out though. They have full-size regular guides on this one. They're just absolutely monstrous. My ideal rod would have a hybrid between normal eyelets and micro guides. And I would choose micro guides any day over full size. But it's not really going to be a detrimental effect on the rod. Okay, let's pick this puppy up with that giant brick on the back. Wow. So this actually helps. counteract the tip, and it helps move the center of gravity back towards the reel handle right here. So that tip is literally light as air right now. Obviously, once you get a 6, 7, 8 ounce reel on here, it's going to definitely weigh it down a little bit. But yeah, that is the tip. Just being like this is feather weight light. The whole rod is actually pretty light in general. Okay, see, these rod handles are the ones that I like the most, because it got that little curve upwards to it. When you're holding on to it, it just makes it a little bit more comfortable for your finger. It curves with your finger, so I really like that. Alright, now let's try a little tap test. I've heard people say this rod basically feels like a Vendetta, so we'll see about that. Okay, there's 100% this thing is not as stiff as a telephone pole like the Vendetta. Nowhere near as stiff as that rod. If anything, this is almost spot on with the Veritas. I mean, doing my little tapping right here might confuse a lot of people, but then again, I'm not going to stuff a rod into the ground and potentially break it, because I don't really think that does anything other than really show where the main flexing point on the rod is. So yeah, that thing it's definitely up there with the Veritas and even the Mike Iaconelli rod. Angler fishing app. Yep, that's the one. Instead of just downloading the app, and it literally says it right here, Angler app, I was sitting here trying to download it from the stupid QR code. Alright, I figured it out. So underneath gear, you click on devices, and we got our virtual rod. Press and hold the button on your rod to connect. If the button does not glow red when pressed, its battery may be connected to another phone. Well, that thing ain't lighting up any colors. If the button does not glow red when pressed, seriously, so I got one that's already dead. What? Okay, well, it just connected, but it never glowed red like what it said it should have. So we're gonna hit OK. Boom! Virtual rod is now paired. Continue. What type of rod do I have? Does it really matter? I got a 7-foot medium heavy. Continue. Click once to record a catch. Okay, this is actually pretty cool. Air temp is 78 degrees, water temp 74. How do you know that? I'm not by a lake or anything. Got a full moon, 3.2 mile-an-hour winds. I can guarantee you it is not 3 mile-an-hour winds. I'm getting gusts up to like 10 miles an hour right here. So, click twice to drop a waypoint. Okay. Edit your waypoint. Okay. So I'm filming this over in a public park, so I don't really care if you guys know what my longitude and latitude is, but just know that I'll show exactly where it was. You can pin it to a map, you can add a photo, interesting structure. Well, that's just a little notepad that you can type on there. What is that? So let's just delete that. Okay, I'm gonna close out of that, turn the phone off. Let's see. I guess every time you exit out of the device section on this thing, it just boots you out or something. So is there a way to take this apart? Okay, there is. Because I've been trying to pair it to my phone and this thing just does not pair, so I'm kind of guessing that my batteries might be dead or something. That's our actual little button. So it doesn't look like there's anything else in there. Now how would you get this button open to replace the battery? So yeah, I've been sitting here holding this button for probably 15 minutes, a few different tries each time, and this thing just has to be dead. So that kind of sucks that it's literally dead right as I buy it, but that has to be the only explanation. Well guys, that just about wraps it up for the virtual rod first impressions. Kind of sucks that I wasn't able to show the full aspect of the virtual rod. I'm going to have to obviously change batteries and do all that stuff. As of right now, the rod has pretty good action, and the Bluetooth version of it does not work. So if you guys want to see future videos of it actually on the water and trying to connect to Bluetooth out in the middle of nowhere and take another 15 minutes, make sure to stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.